Hello guys, this is Dr. Lior Bar-El, and today, unfortunately, I got some real news for you. I'm not a clickbaiter, not even one of those paid-for reviewers that are looking to just make money. You guys know I worked 3 jobs to make this happen. I'm not a career YouTuber. This channel is nothing but honest. I always give you guys the truth, and from my boy in Nintendo of America, and I got some news for you guys. That you already know, but there's things that probably you don't know, and I want to put it into perspective, and I want to also tell you whether or not this is actually worth it or not, okay? Now, I made a promise to you guys, no matter what, I'm getting this system to do a review for you guys, okay? I'm telling you right now because I don't like wasting time, so before I go into the whole shebang on this, I'm going to tell you, ain't worth it, okay? Right now, the way it stands, ain't worth it. And I'm just going to tell you, I would rather you guys, and I'm telling you guys this now, so you don't have to skip through a bunch of crap, but also I'm going to break it down for you. But I'm going to tell you, I would rather you guys wait, okay, till Christmas, till, sales, till all of those sales come into play. By then, we should probably have a better lineup, better packages, okay, other than Mario Kart World, better packages, unless you love that, then whatever, but probably better battery life as we see Nintendo's, history, and probably a better screen, okay? So you got to put all these things into perspective. Also, I'm going to tell you what Nintendo should have done, what Nintendo should do, and hopefully a firmware update will come on that, because I did tell him about that, and he said there was great ideas, and he will bring it up to them. And I'm just hoping these things will be implemented in order to actually make it worth it. Now, the cost of the system, not arguing, because, right now, this is the prices. Cost of games, there's a lot of BS rumors going around, and we're going to get into that. So let's not waste any time and get right into it. Okay, guys, so let's break it down. Where to start here? Okay, first off, I don't know if you guys caught this, but during their, showing of even their 3D image of it, or during what they're doing, what they were showing about it, there's no freaking IR on the remote, okay? So they, basically, Lenovo Legion Go took the idea from Nintendo Switch, took apart the Joy-Cons, okay? And made it like a Nintendo Switch, and it was great, and it was awesome. So now they took a little number from Lenovo Legion Go, and what did they do? They said, well, we're going to turn these Joy-Cons, instead of, motion controls or whatnot, we're going to turn it into a freaking mouse. Now, I'm going to say Lenovo Legion Go, I like the way their mouse is, because it's kind of like this. So when you're playing first-person shooters, it's standing like this, you understand? And you have a button here, a trigger button. So even when you're doing the mouse and you're aiming, you feel like you're actually shooting the damn thing, which is pretty freaking cool. With these little Joy-Cons, I don't know how the hell this mouse experience is going to feel like. I just don't see it. I guess if it's a button and you're just... it's not really portable. Now, I do think that the game system itself, the actual tablet, will be a motion control. It'll have gyros, because you can't play some of these old games without some kind of gyro controls, okay? And also, if you're doing that, you're going to limit, we're not going to get the Nintendo Wii, okay, or Wii U on that online thing, which I still don't think, it'll happen till probably later. Although... my boy in Nintendo of America said there's a lot of, other systems that throughout its lifetime will be released, and there were in talks about that. So I'm waiting. I do like that they put in GameCube, and that's pretty cool, and hallelujah to that. I don't know, man. Now, in terms of, and I'm going to tell you what my boy in Nintendo of America, what we spoke about and everything like that. So, but first I got to say, due to the show that they gave, it was such a freaking cop-out. It was so stupid. They barely had any good games that were on there, except for Metroid that we all looked forward to for like forever. And then you have Donkey Kong, right? So, and Mario Kart World, whatever. I'm saying there's no Mario game. There's no real Zelda game. Now they're charging again for a port that's going to be, hey, well, we're just going to enable the HDR mode like you could do on a computer, and we're going to let you pay for that little upgrade for Breath of the Wild, okay? And this is becoming very, very reminiscent of Nintendo Switch's later years, where we're going to have just retro games and ports all day from PlayStation 5 and 4 and be marketed at this garbage as a brand new game, which doesn't make any sense to me. Nintendo, see, the thing is that Nintendo needs to realize, because they're doing the same mistakes Sega did. Now, I know you guys probably don't remember all the way back then, but Sega, when they came out with the Sega Saturn, okay, Sony was supposed to help them, right? And they betrayed Sony. Okay, what happened is Sony created the PlayStation 1. What happened is then they made, Sega made Dreamcast. Dreamcast was supposed to have Microsoft, and Microsoft betrayed them. They did exactly the same thing, because karma is you know what. And then Microsoft came out with the Xbox, and then Sega went bankrupt, and there just became software instead of hardware. Sega did not listen to Americans. They didn't listen to the Western world. They didn't listen to anybody. Hell, they didn't listen to the people in Japan. Even people in Japan were telling them, we want different things. They didn't listen to anybody. They didn't listen to anyone around the world. Okay? Same exact thing what Nintendo is doing. They were so busy with the Nintendo Switch walking on eggshells after the miserable failure of the Wii U. Which, by the way, this is what it's kind of giving me Wii U vibes. The Switch 2. And they didn't listen to anybody, and they were walking on eggshells trying to facilitate relationships with these third-party developers, so much so that they were willing to forgive them for all their flaws. Like 2K18, WWE. It was an absolute disaster. Other games that just couldn't keep their frame rate. They didn't care. They were like, yeah, we don't care. As long as 2K works with us, we're happy. Eventually, these third-party developers didn't want to get this negative publicity that their game sucked, because they came out for a system that has technology of 2011. Everybody was telling Nintendo the Tegra 1 has a lot of backdoors. People are going to hack. People are going to do this. People are going to do that. Nintendo was like, I'm not listening. We're just going to come out with the Tegra 1 chip. They don't listen to their customers. And the thing what they need to realize is their customers are the reason why in the original NES days, even though Sega Genesis was a 16-bit system and they were 8-bit system, and they were making better games at the time than Nintendo, and some games Nintendo then started making better because all the third-party developers only wanted to develop for Nintendo. They wanted that golden seal, because guess what, guys? Everyone wanted a Nintendo. You had Mario cartoons. You had all of these things. Mario cereal. You were freaking drowning in Nintendo stuff back in the 80s, okay? And back in the 90s. And Nintendo was going really, really into a good world with the Super Nintendo, and they were just untouchable. Okay, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, whatever. And then the competition started coming out. And all these, as the competition came out, they had stronger systems, they had this, they had that. People like Sony, who has connections, unlimited connections, all of these people wanted to develop only for these companies, and then Nintendo had nothing. So they said, okay, well, we're going to work harder on our first-party games. And that was the leg that Nintendo always stood on. People, their first-party games were the system sellers. But even in Nintendo 64, when you had No Mercy, and you had all these cool freaking wrestling, they said, we don't want a game like everybody else, like SmackDown or every. You give us a No Mercy, you give us an exclusive game, and we're going to go and we're going to make that a system seller. And guess what? It was. That was one of the reasons I bought the Nintendo 64. I didn't really care for Mario. Even though I loved Mario, I didn't like 3D Mario. So guess what? I just went about, got my damn thing, got it, and just for No Mercy, kid you freaking not, okay? So all of these systems were bought because there were system sellers out there. Nintendo right now, and the only leg they have to stand on is first-party games, and then tell the third-party developers to make exclusive games for them. Only exclusive games are the only thing they have left to stand on. And the show they give us, I mean, The Nintendo Switch show when they opened up with Mario Odyssey. Oh my God, how awesome it was. I'll never forget, right outside Nintendo World near Rockefeller Center, that whole freaking show, and they made this baby happen. Okay, people, even that didn't like Mario, didn't even like Nintendo, went and got a Switch. Okay, I kid you not, I know many of my friends who wouldn't touch a Nintendo game. They were always loyal to Sega Genesis, and they just went to Sony, and then they went to, they didn't really care. They were all the way to PlayStation 5. They don't really care about Nintendo, and they went and got a Switch. Now you got competition, ladies and gents. You got a way to play computer games, computer graphics, all the games that are freaking amazing on a computer is now available on the ROG Ally, the Lenovo Legion Go, and yes, I'm going to say it, the Steam Deck, that now you could get the original one for about $250 to $300. Okay? What the freaking hell, Nintendo? You see all that competition knocking on your door and you're like, yep, you could say we feel comfortable, because we got our own exclusive games. But the thing is, you don't. The ones you have, not many are interested in. I would have loved to see another Smash Brothers. I would have loved to see another Zelda game, another freaking Mario game. Now, I know some of you guys are going to say, well, Lior, this is still too early. And yes, because my friend in Nintendo of America said they're still working on more games and more of that. And even he admitted, this is the wrong time to release the system. And people are blaming it on tariffs and stuff. This is long before, tariffs weren't even in effect yet when they were already making all these decisions. Has nothing to do with that. Of course, now there's going to be things that are good because now they're trying to move to Vietnam. And Vietnam also has a tariff, but now they're willing to work a deal out. Hopefully that works out. Nintendo can move some of their string over there to Vietnam. And keep the prices low. If not, it's going to probably cost over $500. Here's the thing, guys. $450 for the base. You want to have it with a video game, it's $500. As of now, the way it stood, before God knows what they're going to do to the prices. Okay. First off, people are not that confident with the Joy-Cons. A lot of people, and I'm going to answer that, they actually did improvements on the Joy-Cons due to what my friend said. So hopefully it does come out better, and it's not going to have drift and all these issues. I hope. I pray to God that they don't. But I should have asked them about the IR, but you could clearly see there's no IR in it. So I don't know what they're going to do with that on that end. Now, the rumor that's floating around is all the games for Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be $80 to $90. Some people are justifying it, some people are not. Guys, let me explain something to you. What they put on, and they do clickbait for y'all, so you guys click on it, and they talk about regurgitated garbage over and over again from rumor sites. There's something you guys should know. Not every game is going to be $80 to $90. Most of the games are going to be $70. Now, I know we're used to $60 price points, but, inflation. Back in freaking 1980s, games were $60, So for it to carry on all the way there, okay, especially now that people are getting paid more than they did back in those days, of course, due to inflation. I don't know. It's kind of a coin flip here. It could be the same thing they're making, but prices are going to go up. There's no doubt about that. And the thing, I love Microsoft's, the way they thought about things when they came out with the Xbox. They say, you know what? We're going to lose money on production of the system, but at the same time, we're going to make our money on software. Nintendo doesn't really care about that. They're like, you know what? We still feel like we're the only ones doing a handheld system here. So we're going to just rest and, not know that there's Steam Deck, ROG Ally, that's selling now even for $450, $500. And the Lenovo Legion Go that was $800 and now is about $600. And now they're going to have a Lenovo Legion Go with a Steam OS. I don't care about that. I'm happy with my original Lenovo Legion Go. They're just too comfortable. And I said, the first thing I said when I looked at Donkey Kong, I said, this game looks a lot like Mario Odyssey. This is going to be their Odyssey. But guys, even though I love Donkey Kong, and I love Donkey Kong Country, and I loved everything Donkey Kong, I would have loved to see a Mario game. I would have loved to see a new Zelda game. Now, I'm not talking about damn freaking Hyrule. I would have loved to see something that is a system seller. People, Joe Schmo from Kokomo, doesn't really care about Mario Kart World, even though it's fun. Doesn't really care. I don't justify spending $500 on a system. See, if I'm this regular guy, you want to bring people from the outside. Basically what Nintendo is doing is catering to their fans without listening to their fans. But at the same time, they're not trying to pull anybody new into the system. Where Sony and Microsoft, Sony's like trying to pull them in by the herds. Here's the exclusive games that's only available here. And we'll come out for it on PC. We'll let the third-party developers develop it 5, 6, 10 years down the line. You understand what I'm trying to tell you guys? They need something to stand on, and this was so freaking weak. This gives me freaking Wii U vibes. It's like the Wii U 2. It doesn't make any sense for them to do this, but they did. And you could say, well, down the line, and yes, down the line, they're going to have a lot better stuff, and you'll see. There's things I'm allowed to say, there's things I'm not allowed to say, but they are going to come out with certain games that we're asking for. But they should have came out with it already. They should have had this ready for launch. But they don't. There is going to be a surprise game that is going to surprise us. There's no doubt. But again, not really what everyone's asking for. So, with that being said, with all that competition, and you got a $500 system, as of now, it's probably going to be more expensive. Who the hell knows? That's another thing they tell you. Oh, you click on it, it's going to get expensive. They don't know that. Nobody knows what is happening. In fact, my friend in Nintendo of America said even the board did not make a decision. So don't feed these idiots that are telling you click on me, because they are clickbait and they're just getting your blood pressure up for no freaking reason. Unless Nintendo declares it, don't believe it. Okay, we already just count how many videos these so-called influencers are releasing, and all of it is bull. All of it is fake. But you clicked on it and they have 100,000, 200,000. They don't have to work a day in their lives. And they're kind of like Nintendo. They don't really care about that. They're giving you entertainment by promising, giving you an illusion, so you click on it, and then telling you rumors. Nothing is written in stone. The board hasn't even decided on that. Okay? So there's still things being worked out. Now, another thing is, a major thing is the battery issue, right? They call it an issue. So they're like, okay, well, it's not going to last as long as the Nintendo Switch. How many of you didn't know that was going to happen? Okay, this is sure. This is actually confirmed. I spoke to him and he told me it's not. But here's the thing. Ask yourself something. I used to be one of those idiots that took my Lenovo Legion Go with a giant freaking brick of a battery and walked around and be like, yeah. And then I would realize I don't even use it. How many of you guys are going to use a handheld system for over 2 freaking hours? Ask yourself that. I have a bus ride from hell when I go to my other place, okay, from work. It takes me about an hour and 30 minutes, something like that, to get home. Yes, I am that stupid, but I have to, right? Hour and a half. I have more than enough battery, and in the office, I just charge it. Now, I know what the biggest concern should be, which I have, is, well, it's going to drain, and then you charge, drain, charge, drain, charge. That's going to mess up the battery. But here's what you guys probably didn't realize, and I saw some of you guys had that concern, which I have too. I have an original OG Switch. If you guys remember, it only gave you 2 hours and a half BS. It gave me like an hour and a half always to 2 hours. Now it gives me, okay, I still play it, even though I have the OLED version. Now it gives me about an hour and a half still, but sometimes a little bit less. But it still charges, as long as you charge it. And see, if you don't charge a lithium battery or whatever, any rechargeable battery, the cells start dying on you. So if you charge it to at least 80% throughout its lifetime and its course, no matter what they tell you the lifetime is, mine lasted for years. We're in 2025. I got it when? Like 2012? I mean, you see the review I did for you guys on that. Go all the way back and just count the years. Okay, it still works like a freaking dream. And then what happened is they came out with a 6-hour battery version. And then what happened is they came out with an OLED version with a 6-hour battery life, which is what I bought. So, yes, believe it or not, they are actually working on it. I could tell you that. So they're working on better battery life. They're working on an OLED. It's in talks. I'm not going to say they're working. I don't want to. I'm not clickbaiter. I'm not a liar. They're talking about it. Now, I am going to tell you something. This is what Nintendo should have done. I told my friend that, and hopefully he does mention it to them. He said he's going to try to mention it to them and see where it goes. The Lenovo Legion Go has an option where, in this case, you could choose between hertz, but they also let you choose an option in terms of resolution. Okay? All of you guys saying, I can't believe Nintendo didn't release a 4K in handheld. Well, let me explain something to you. HD, you're not going to appreciate unless it's on a 27-inch screen. I don't really care what you tell me. I'm telling you, that's the way it is. And with 4K on a handheld screen is just going to drain your battery, and it has, to your naked eye, you won't even notice the difference. Okay? You won't. Unless it's a 32-inch and above, you're not going to notice a 4K at all. So for it, basically having it up-resed on the dock station, or even native on the dock station, is awesome to be able to play on a 4K monitor, right, on the TV. But on handheld, you don't need that. That's just more battery wasting. But what I told them is, if they could have resolution drops to let you have better battery life, right? So in Lenovo Legion Go, you could go to, and there's another one I'm going to tell you. So you go through resolutions like 2K, HD, and then, whatever, 2 versions of HD. They should do that and go all the way up to 720. And believe me, all of us are not going to know the difference. And it's going to be great. And you probably could get even better, better frame rates on it, to be honest with you. I think that would be the best way to go. And I told them, just like the Lenovo Legion Go, you have battery options. Do you put it on performance? Do you put it on, light or whatever? They can do that where you can decide all of these levels, and what's going to happen is you'll be able to get more battery life. So, for example, if I'm playing a game, and I know they claim it's intelligent and it'll do that anyway, but it really doesn't. Based on my test on the original and on the OLED version, it really doesn't. Maybe this one will be different. I don't know. But I think the players should have that ability to decide how they want to go about it. Also, there's frame blending, there's VSync, there's all kinds of other options that hopefully, if they could implement something like that, that'll be great, because even games that'll be harder to run, we have on the Lenovo Legion Go, a little thing you just check and, it blends in frames and it makes it look better and it runs better in some of the games. It gives you the illusion, and that's really what it is, right? But that's the things they need. They need a better first-party development, better games, for their lineup right now. Better system controls like the ones I just discussed that should be there. And then I loved it when Hogwarts Legacy, which is for the Switch, by the way, the guy's talking about it like it's a brand new freaking game. He's not telling you, it's, like on the Nintendo Switch, but we're going to make it with better graphics and better this and better that. No, he's not telling you this. He's basically acting like it's a new game. Again, regurgitated garbage being sold to you as brand new, or maybe as an upgrade. Nintendo, what the hell, man? What the hell? And look, I'm going to be a sucker for Breath of the Wild. I love Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And I would love to play it on freaking HDR. I would love to play it on high definition, So I mean, high definition. I would love to play a better version of that, but they're coming out with Elden Ring. I beat the hell out of that game maybe about 10 times on the computer. People already played that game through, ran it through, and finished. I'm still playing it just for the hell of it, just reruns. I would not. I played it on my Lenovo Legion Go. What the hell would compel me to buy it for the Nintendo Switch? And do you really think that they're going to have the same great graphics that on a PC or a Lenovo could rock? Hell no! And you're going to pay a crap ton of money for it, believe me. So again, we're taking old ports and just saying, here's the Switch. They're basically telling you, hey guys, here's like a handful of games. We didn't really give a crap, so here it is. And, the rest of it, we're just going to take from the old games of the PlayStation 4 and 5 and just kind of like, pass it on to you from the PC and pass it on to you as a brand new game. And we also have morons that are going to be there talking to you about games like it's brand new when we all know they're just stupid ports, even ports from games we already had on the system, like Hogwarts Legacy. Just insane. Insane. It's almost like a little kid who has a good idea and scribbled, when they scratch a little bit and you're like, wow, that looks good. And then they scribble more and then they mess it up. That's what happened with Nintendo. They were so eager to release this system. As late as it was, they took their time with it and they did good. I mean, they sold, they were selling, everything was great. They didn't care to release another system. While everybody was releasing new systems every 3 years, they were like, okay, which, hey, whatever. Much love to Nintendo for that. That they still kept the dream alive like Sega did with Genesis. And then they came out with, the 32X, the Sega CD. Great. Whatever you could suck out of the life and make it go longer, better. But you were talking about this, and now it almost feels like you rushed the hell out of the system to come out. Above all the times you picked, this was probably the worst time you could have picked to release a system also. But I digress. The thing is, damn Nintendo. So battery life, is going to be less. Okay? And that's fine. That's normal hours. As long as the battery is like the Nintendo Switch, okay? This thing is going to last you for a very, very long time before it cakes out. Okay? So I'm going to tell you. Like I said, my old version, my OG Switch, still runs beautifully. And it's going to happen with this one too. Hopefully. I hope. If it's the same kind of battery quality, unless they cheapened it, it's going to be garbage. But, that's something to think about. So I don't think people should really have a gripe with the battery life. I don't think you should worry about it too much because the average player is not even going to be on an hour and a half on this damn thing. That's what you got to tell yourself. I stopped carrying these big bricks of batteries that I paid $100 for to lengthen the life. And I'm sure they're going to have these cases that have batteries on it that'll lengthen it anyway. But I cannot tell you enough how many of you guys are not going to use it through it. If you do actually play games on the go for 4-5 hours, now I can understand if you're working in Grubhub or whatever and on your off time you're playing and you want to make sure this damn thing lasts you for a very long time. I totally get it. But most of us are not going to be on that boat. Yeah, that's so I have no gripe with that. The 450 to 500, yes, it's priced high, but, unfortunately, if Nintendo had a good lineup, I would say it's worth it. Here's my thing, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to get it for you guys like I did the original, and of course I regretted it, but I don't regret it because I did a review for y'all. I did say I was going to do a review, and I am going to get it. I'm going to work my butt off to somehow crank out a miracle and get this damn system so I can review it for you. But I am going to wholeheartedly recommend that you wait for better bundles, better lineup, which is coming, by the way. So it is coming. But right now, we're at a time where I'm sure prices will probably come down a little bit, especially if there's new things on the horizon. Now, if you guys can wait a while longer, I would recommend to wait 2 years till you get the new system. And by then, we'll probably have better battery life. That is irrelevant to me, but whatever, it's fine. And hopefully at some point, an OLED version that'll come way down the line. It is in talks, so hopefully they'll come out together. But believe it or not, the talks that I heard, they're still going to do it separately. So, and then with the OLED, they're going to have 6 hours and OLED. Great marketing tactic, but kind of sucks. So hopefully Nintendo does a better lineup and releases them ASAP. I don't want it rushed, but something needs to come out in another direct. This direct was weak as hell. Okay, I don't know how they're going to implement without IR controllers. I got to ask them about that. How they're going to implement the old games to be played on it. Now, it is kind of funny, just a little tidbit. How many generations was Breath of the Wild on? Wii U, Wii, and now they're coming into pretty freaking interesting. So covers lifetime of 3, which Nintendo's generations, like now 6 generations down the line. Insanity. So looking forward to playing that, because you know I'm a sucker for Zelda games, and I'm just letting you know it ain't going to be worth it. As Nintendo stands right now, I don't see, if I was a new customer coming into the game, I would not get it. I would get a Lenovo Legion Go. I would, you know, save my money for that, which now I think goes for about $600, get an ROG Ally, or get a freaking Steam Deck, and call it a day. That's just my 2 cents. A lot of you Nintendo fans out there are forgiving, more forgiving than I am. I'm a big Nintendo fan since the beginning of time. But I'm telling you right now, the way it stands, I just don't see it worth it. I just don't. I just don't see me spending if I was not a reviewer, I would not spend $500 on a system. Again, I pay for all this garbage, so I am going to be paying $500. I am that sucker they see coming from a mile away. Most of these paid for reviewers are going to have review ones and tell you how great and awesome it is. You know, on this channel, it's always going to be 100% honest, because I ain't paid for. So just keep that in mind. I will cough up the money. I work 3 jobs, like I told you, and I love that you guys offer me Patreon services, but I don't have a Patreon. I don't do it because we live in uncertain times right now, and we need to save our money and invest in ourselves. And when I worked in Catholic charities and kids were getting ripped off by these paid-for reviewers, I came out with this channel. Before that, I was just there to be there. So I came out with this channel to preach honesty so people can get better informed decisions from people like you and I. And you guys are doing more than money. You know what you're giving me? You're the jury. Do you agree? Do you disagree? On this thing, I want to hear what you guys have to say on the comments. And let us together give back to the community by helping them make better informed decisions and not get ripped off by Joe and Schmo from Kokomo, from freaking paid-for reviewing yuppies, telling them that something is good when it's not. Okay? I'm looking forward to it. I do love the way the attachments are. You know, the way it's going in. I never liked the rail system, even though it's a cool idea. A lot of the times it disconnected. You guys saw I did plenty of taking it apart, showing you guys how to put stronger, how to make it stronger, how to make the Joy-Cons untouchable, never have drift ever. I did several things for you there where I took it apart and showed you guys how to do it. I hope I don't have to do it with this system. But the things that are, it looks like almost like using a magnetic type of thing, and magnets tend to wear out. So we'll see how the heck the longevity is on that one. But I guess we'll find out. That, from my buddy, he said that it's going to be perfect. We'll see. That's all I got to say about this, guys. I just don't think it's worth it. I really do not think it's worth it the way it stands right now. And I think, you know, they should have bundled it up, like had a bundle with Donkey Kong. Mario Kart, they always bundle it up, and I get it. But now you got 2 games that you have there. Why don't you bundle that up? That's probably going to be $80, $90 for sure. I don't know. I'm not going to be giving rumors here, but yeah. So is what it is, guys. But the $80 to $90 spectrum, guys, a lot of the games are going to be $70. There are going to be, you know, certain games that are going to be $80, $90, and I'm willing to bet they're going to be probably more Nintendo-based that are going to be that price. Or God knows what, maybe a third-party developer, they promised them a better kickback. Who the hell knows? But we'll find out. But definitely nobody has anything on that. And whether or not Nintendo is going to raise their prices or not, that is still up for debate. It's not 100% written in stone. The board is just discussing right now things, and my friend said that is the last thing they want to do after they gave already an MSRP. So believe me, don't buy into this BS. So just wait for Nintendo to make their little call. Now they said they're pushing their pre-orders to the 9th. No, they said the 9th, and now they're saying probably another time, which I think that's a very wise move to wait to see, because once the tariffs do take hold, which it didn't yet, but once it does take hold, it's going to be a freaking nightmare. There's no doubt about it for a while, till there's deals that are going to be made, or God knows what's going to go through. But this is why right now, just let Nintendo take its time before releasing it, and hopefully we'll get it at that MSRP. He said that they're trying not to go over it. They're doing everything in their power not to be over it. They made that thing, that declaration already, what the price is going to be like, and they don't want to go above that price. So they're gonna, God knows what they're gonna do. I think that's the best tactic. They're just gonna wait it out. That's my thing. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. As always, self-funded here. If you like what you see, like, subscribe, press that bell button. As I always say, share it with everybody you know. Make the family grow. Comment down below. Have a good one, y'all. Take care. Bye. As always, guys, if you like what you see, self-funded here, be sure to check out all my other stuff, from mini-series to unboxings to technology, and Nintendo reviews and 3D printer reviews and all that good stuff. If you like what you see, the only way you can help the channel is by liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell button, as many more cool videos to come. Definitely want you guys in it, and I want you guys to be vocal. Definitely comment down below. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Have a good one, y'all. Take care. Bye.